All right, let's try this, okay? Well, we're gonna keep our yes, okay. Hey, all right. I want to try this today. Let's see if it works. We're all gonna keep our cameras on, except when except when you're gonna talk, because it's active speaker. When you talk, you will be on the screen. And so you can just block the camera or switch off your video when when you're about to talk. Exactly the opposite of what we actually do in meetings. Most of the meetings that I'm at, so the people appear on screen when they have something to say. All right. Great. Yeah, I can see a bunch of you still making progress. I think you have until the week, until Sunday anyway. So yeah. So yeah, I think it's most of you who are past the midway will should easily make it. So, but yeah, I just have to make time for it. That's all. All right. So here's what we want to do. Hey, thanks, Ben. Yeah, welcome back. Dylan, actually, let me full screen this thing. Great. Okay, Eric, and Roger, you wanted to go, you wanted to meet on campus, but majority voted against it, so we're here. All right, Angelos and Eric, if you two want to code, yeah, Roger, yeah, you should just speak up, okay? In fact, I hardly ever heard you on Zoom. Only heard you in class. Do you have a microphone, Roger? I can't hear him. Okay. The rest of you guys switch on your cameras. All right. Yeah, Roger says it's not working. Yeah, Angelos and Eric, if you guys want to code, you can just do exactly the same thing we did last time, which is to create a main program. I'm going to say 5 minutes, only 5 minutes each, okay? And everybody else has had a chance. Hey, Caesar, did you get a chance to write this? No, yeah, right. Yeah, I don't remember. Right, you can go too, right? So let's say 15 minutes. 15 minutes, 5 minutes each of you, and then after that, we'll just do reflections. How do we do it in class? I think what you'll have to do is essentially just browse your Reddit or some kind of a history that you have. And then bring up random topics saying, hey, I had do people remember the discussion that we had on Reddit? I don't know. I don't even know if that needs to be on class time. Really, this sounds like informal chat to me. How about this? Okay, my goal is to, other than get you to code today, which is more important. That's why we're going to dive into this next. Okay. Other than that, really is to give you lots of opportunities to get started on the final reflections report. This is worth a lot of marks, right? 15 points or something like that. And but of course, I mean, your regular participation through the quarter obviously helps to feed into that. But your final report has to be, good. And I thought, rather than sitting in a corner by yourself, trying to think of, what is it what is it that I can say about the last 12 weeks in CS2A? Did I make some interesting posts? Do I need to go and search? Right. And then you go and search for your own stuff and you find like a ton of stuff, right? Stuff that you've totally forgotten. And then you think, all right, okay, this is, passing CS2A is easier than sifting through that nonsense. So the best thing is to just reflect right now with your classmates. So everybody will bring up important things. And we could just switch off everything. I could go, oh gee, it says I only have the end button. What I should have done is join the meeting instead of starting the meeting. Then I can just leave, and then you guys can reflect. Now, if I leave, I think the meeting ends, but that's okay. You can just get together. I don't know if that actually happens, but some students do have a Discord group for CS2A, CS2B, CS2C. Although I highly discourage students from doing that, because if you have these incredible conversations in Discord, it's all lost, really, isn't it? Because it's all private. Someone has to log in. It's better that you have that conversation on Stack Overflow or GitHub or Reddit, okay? Because some place where the robots can reach. Yes. So you want to take your best stuff and put it somewhere that the robots can't reach. They'll never find out. Well, what I mean by they is, I'm not talking about AI. Even if you use AI, at some point AI will be a tool, right? Some really high tech recruiting agency might actually use a spider that's intelligent and does all the work that a regular recruiter does. Like, go through your profile everywhere on the net, Stack Overflow, and search and find out everything about you, right? Which is going to take a ton of time for a human. But you can get a robot to do that very quickly and nicely, and it'll just sift through, millions of these and give you a short list in the morning, right? But in order for the robot to reach you, you got to make it easy, I think, right? In the future, I'm talking about like 10 years from now, right? Because right now there's, you still have human recruiters, lots and lots of humans, messy humans in the mix, right? So we need to get rid of those people, right? Just give them a pension and say, stay home and enjoy yourself, right? But leave the real work to us. That is the AI, and then that, because once you identify the best set of rules, the best set of ways to do some things, many of these things can be encoded to be repeated. And then you can take your mind off it. And that's, so there's a lot of, I think, fear around people saying, oh my gosh, what happens if I don't have anything to do? Because people don't know how to do nothing. So that is why in CS2C, the first mini quest, I think, well, actually that is not why, but it's a crazy coincidence. Making nothing actually gets you points. You start making sets from power sets, given a set of things. And a power set, one of the first elements of the power set is an empty set. Yes. Some of you are doing math too. Yeah. Discrete math and things like that. Yeah. An empty set is one of the elements of the power set. So that's nothing really. But then the algorithm we use to manufacture the power set has to manufacture nothing first. And so, I had a chance to make a clever thing there in the spec. So to make everything, you got to make nothing first, or learn to make nothing first. Because once you make that, you just multiply that many times and you get all the items. All right, okay. So that's what it is. Enough blabbering on, and nobody else is going to join us, I think. Spencer, Dylan, and Eric, you should switch on your cameras. Who wants to code, right? So how about someone? Yeah, I'm in the mood to code, and I think it's good to do this one more time, even for people who've done this recently. Like Kira was most recent, yeah, Kira, and then one more person coded after you. Was it Caden? Someone coded after Kira. But anyway, the people I have in mind I had in mind are Angelos and Eric, and then I just recognized that Caesar also didn't code today. So Caesar, right? So the three of you guys, 5 minutes each. You can grab the screen, and then in fact, I'm not even going to describe what the problem is. One of you, right? Isidore, Kiara, Ben, Zach, so Raj, so many people who've actually done this. So you can say this is what we're going to try and do. In fact, Ben was dictating the code last time, right? To someone where you were dictating the code to at one point, I think. Yeah. Because I think there was a variable called A, and you said rename from A to next, which is more readable.
Yeah, I think I gave like a little bit of pointers, but I think
yeah, because I remember the comment. Yeah, maybe I don't remember everything, but I remember the comment. Very nice comment. All right. So anyway, thanks. Hey, Spencer, switch on your camera. Okay, Dylan. Who wants to code? Who wants to code? Hey, hang on. Where's this thing? I can't help get rid of the bubble. Okay, Caden coded. Yeah, Caden coded. All right. Okay, Dylan, camera not working. Spencer, your camera is working. Eric, do you want to code? You want to code? Take the screen, and then one of us will basically say what we did. I think we did like 4 or 5 times last class. We're just going to do that. And then the same thing, from scratch. Angelos is going to try and do. Actually, if Juliana joins later, she can also take a go because she was the very first one to go, right? And then our problem set was just getting formed at that time. So right. So if she comes back, we'll give her a chance. Eric, are you going to take the screen?
I mean, yeah, sure, I'll give it a try.
Yeah. No, you should. I'm pretty sure it'll be pretty awesome. Okay. All right. No, dismiss the blue and the white part, and then if you remember what we're going to do, you can actually say what you're doing and type as you keep typing. I don't know. Should I change to speaker view? Oh, jeez. Okay. All right. Worst case, we won't publish the video. All right. Okay.
Was it just RAN or just I forget which version of random did we use for this one?
So I think we didn't use I think we didn't use any include file for the RAND in the end. Let's try it without the yeah, you just go and using namespace and stuff. Using namespace. No, using namespace also because we'll have a main in there. And people should correct me if I'm slightly off from what we did before. Using namespace standard. Okay, using namespace standard. Yeah, USING STD. Yeah, and then and fix the spelling for using USING. All right. Okay. A semicolon at the end. Yeah. Enter. All right. Now you can do your class node. So in C++, the other thing you could also get used to is when you put that closing brace, put a semicolon also, because sometimes we forget. And so, and in other languages, maybe you don't do that. Yeah. And colon. And then that is the right indentation, I find. We talked about it last time too, and you don't need a blank line above that. We'll just do for one public, and then they had two public elements in there, and one of them was int data, and the other was node space star pointer next. I think all right. So now I shouldn't be talking you through this code. Now, do you want me to talk through the code? Talk through the code. You can.
Yes, I would
do you want
like
to
you
take
to.
a crack at it yourself?
Nah, I would like some assistance if I can.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now public. Hit enter after public. Hit enter after public colon. Yeah. Enter. Right. Tab in now. Tab in. There you go. Right. So that is a better way to indent. Int space data. Right, and then put a semicolon after that. After data, put a semicolon. Right, enter. All right, now type node space star next, and then it's a capital N for node. Angelos, you've got to do exactly the same thing next, okay? And I'm not going to talk you through this. Is that okay? Angelos, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. In fact, if you promise that you're going to do this anyway, you don't have to do it on screen, right? I will just walk Eric through this, but you're going to watch this and also do exactly the same thing, right? Except not watch it and do it. You got to watch it and then do it. You're not bit by bit. One, watch it, get in your memory, and then all right. But we'll see how it goes. All right, semicolon, Eric. All right, and on the next line, let's do the constructor as well. And the constructor is just going to say node, capital N, yeah, open parentheses. Right, and I think it was int data. No, int space data. You know what? We forgot to even set the timer, but I think we'll have, after we do the class, we'll probably run out of time, and then Angelos can fill out the, main part, or for the next 5 minutes after that. But it does look like you need a lot of practice, Eric. Okay, so you got to code a lot from, after this class too, before the final.
Yeah, I'll try.
Because a lot of these things, yeah. So you need to practice a bit more. All right, great. Int data.
course.
All right, and then a colon after that. Colon. No, not a semicolon. Colon. Yeah, colon.
I was trying to find out my things.
Yeah. He's
Yeah, that
right
way.
about the semicolon, right? So semicolon, shift semicolon is colon. Yeah. So space, space. Oh, and say int d, not int data, right? Int d. Right. Now you're going to say data, open parentheses, d, close parentheses. Yeah. Alexa, set a timer for 2 minutes. Alexa, set a timer for 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
It's hard to hear you. There's like a lot of voices.
All right. So data, open parentheses, and then d in there. D. Yeah. All right. And then put a space before the word data. It's nicer. Right. And then a comma after that. Now, this is a very interesting, nice form of doing a constructor. Get used to this because you'll actually see it in a couple of questions in the final too. So, some fragment of code and you'll see a constructor in this form. So don't be thrown away from it by that. Okay. So, many times the constructor is simple and doesn't require complex logic. This is the form that many people use. Yeah. And then next, space. No, right there, where you had the comma, after the comma, space, next. Yeah, open parentheses, null pointer, okay, nullptr. Right, and and then after that, left curly and right curly, right, 2 curly braces. Oh, yeah, close that, yeah, go to the end, no, after go to the end and then put the 2 curlies there, yeah, a space and then 2 curlies, space and then 2 curlies. Right now, 1 sec. Okay, get rid of the space after next, so that null pointer is stuck to that thing. No, not there. Space after next. Yeah, after next. Okay, and now I can get rid of the 2 blank lines, 10 and 11. All right, that is our class. All right. Now, you should just in fact, this is a good start. Just to get the hang of it. Just get this typed out from scratch repeatedly many times, and then once you've got that going, then you say, all right, I'm going to add on a main as well, right? So just getting the class declaration right, getting the rhythm of C++. That's what it is. Okay, once you get in the rhythm, it is easy. Like that parrot picture that I posted. Thanks. Hey, Alexa, stop. All right, anyway, so what needs to happen now is maybe Angelos, you're going to take the screen. And then we're going to do, hey, Eric, thank you so much. Okay.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
And you got to practice this. Okay. You got to practice this. And also on your own, you got to do whatever Angelos is doing too. And the goal is before the final, you should be able to, all of you guys, right? You should be able to go from a blank slate, just open online GDB, delete everything there to this complete program, which involves a class and a pointer and a main, and in the main there are 2 kinds of for loops. One of them populates the list and the other is going to iterate through the list, printing it or something like that. Okay, and if you have 5 minutes, you got to get all of that done from scratch without looking at anything at all. I think it's a reasonable goal. Please, show of hands if you think that's a reasonable goal, because all of CS2A, that's what we're building up to. We've learned all of these skills, which is kind of, yeah, thank you, Eric, okay? And everybody's got to practice, and no excuses. If you can't do it, you can't do it, that's it, okay? But you got to get to do it. And if you're not doing it, you're just not putting in enough effort. You got to, say, all right, I'm going to stay up all night and keep doing this all, repeatedly. Like, a new code progression that you got to get in your head, okay? There's no way around it. You just got to keep doing it until your memories, set in your muscles like that. So you got to do that. And so 5 minutes, okay, for the entire thing. And I think that's a good reflection for CS2A, because thinking back all the way, we've used every single skill, data representation, size t, the difference between integer and size t, and some places we're using int and some places we're using size t. And in that program too, if I think about it, we actually have an int payload, which means it could be negative, but our loop counters are size t, right? But we've discussed the reasons for this in our data representation all the way back to week 1. And then, we have different ways of inputting things and outputting things and flushing things. And then 2 different kinds of for loops. People say there's, the standard kind of for loop, and there's the other kind of for loop, which is, syntactic sugar for loop. Basically, for each, for item colon vector, something like that. Okay. That is syntactic sugar. It's basically the same kind of for loop. But this kind of for loop you're writing is actually more interesting because, one of them is actually an increment over integers, and the other one is hopping in space to random locations. Think about it. Yes. In the first one, the intervals between the jumps are all equal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so on, right? In the second kind of for loop, it is a different kind, categorically different kind of for loop, right? Because I could have said, we'll use a while loop. Yeah, okay, while loop is as good. People could say as different as possible from a for loop. Yeah, but the difference between these 2 for loops is more than the difference between a standard for loop and a standard while loop, I think, in my opinion, because the jumps here are not equal at all. You're just going from one pointer to another. Yes, well, maybe it takes a little while to wrap your head around it, but it is actually very nice to ponder that, I think, right? So we use both of those skills in this thing here. So you reflect on that too. Reflect on that too. And anyway, so at the end of this this week, by Sunday, hopefully you'll all have your reflections, right? Posted in the subreddit. Okay, and it should, basically also, like I posted in the announcements, leave a bit of advice, not advice, like, you could say suggestions to other students, because I do know that some students who got into this class dropped it after realizing that it was not a traditionally taught class. So they expected, lectures and things like, different kind of structure, maybe. Yeah. So you could, make it known, saying, I had a good time, but but you got to slog it out or something like that. I don't know, whatever it is. All right. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those questions. Hey, you know what, Caesar? Well, Caesar, you should code if you want to, right? If you want to code, what we're going to do is do exactly what Eric did, right? Which I'm not going to walk you through this, but you're going to type it in online GDB, right? You can pass if you want, but you got to do it, right? Yeah, I'm taking your word for it, but and I don't even know if you're going to do it or not, but I'm just going to trust you here. But you have to promise to yourself, because you paid for it anyway. So you're going to say, I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to stay up all night and get that program done, for end to end, all the way to main. And I have to be able to do it if I'm just given a blank whiteboard and 5 minutes. 5 minutes, okay? Maybe it'll take you half an hour the first time because you could looking up a few places. Yes. Maybe even I've got to look at Reddit posts or look at a video, YouTube videos. Maybe it takes longer than an hour even. The second time it'll take you, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. Right? And maybe you get faster and faster. Maybe 5 times you'll be down to 5 minutes. And after that, anyone can wake you up and say, hey, how do you do this program? And you'll just reel it off. Yeah. And that is entirely, think about it. That is the whole of CS2A. So if you decided to withdraw from the class at this point, say, well, you know what, I'm not getting an A+, I'm going to withdraw and come back next time. Everything is stacked in your favor because, you actually have the end-to-end knowledge of CS2A. You basically have a great time and do this. All right, CS2A, hey, Caesar, this is you? Roger, great, fantastic. All right, go for it. All right, do you want me to set a timer? Hey, Roger, go then. All right, Alexa, set a timer for 5 minutes. Is everybody following this code? You know, I mean, he's doing it silently. And by the way, when you do the node star P, I think there was also a discussion about this, right? Yeah, the star needs to be attached to the P, not to the node star, because node star is not a type. Node is a type. And then star P is of type node. So we want to preserve that distinction. And the reason we want to do that practically is that if you say node star and then P, comma Q, right? We may be thinking that P and Q are both node star type, but the compiler will think, well, you know what, P is of node star, but Q is of type node. And so there's all these confusions and bugs that can be introduced. That is a practical reason why I avoid doing that. Well, I do it this way. You also have one more, right? Node star head. And also you have node star next, by the way. So you can fix those as well. No, actually, you're using node star everywhere like that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry to eat into your 5 minutes, but I think you're good on time. You just need to print it out and you're almost there. Yeah. Is everybody following this code? Yeah. Well, anyway, Roger, I wasn't expecting Roger to go, and thank you, Roger, for doing this. But I was actually expecting Caesar to take the screen and do it. Okay, Caesar, do you want to do it or not? All right. This is Caesar and who else? Angelos and Caesar. I think they were the only two I left out. Yeah. If you guys want to do it now, you can do it just like Roger's doing it. Right. Start from a blank slate and do it 5 minutes. Right. The timer hasn't gone, and he's almost done here. Yeah. And I think he's going to do the final C out and get the timer going. Right. I want to return 0 at the end of main. You're going to put the return 0 at the end? Return 0 at the end. Return 0. Blank line, return 0. Space 0. Semicolon. How much time is left? Alexa, how much time is left?
There are no timers set.
Holy cow, I thought we set a timer. Did we set a timer for 5 minutes? I thought we set a timer for 5 minutes. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I don't believe so.
Roger. Yeah, well, you've got to do it yourself and time it, okay? I thought you know, you're good on time. And it would have been interesting to see how much time that took, right? It's almost like a game, right? You know, we're gamifying everything here. Because even this coding thing, an exercise, it's kind of like a game, because we're saying how fast is it, and so on. So everybody should do this, okay? Just like Roger just did. Thank you, Roger. Yeah. Let's start with this clean slate. Don't look at any reference material, and you're going to say, "I'm going to do it," and aim for 5 minutes or less. This should have been 5 minutes, but maybe it was, you know, borderline. Thank you, Roger. Yeah, it was fun for me. Yeah. All right. Hey, Caesar or Angelos, you guys want to, either of you want to cut the code? Otherwise, we'll just, you know, go ahead. You know, Hosyu, you can also do a cut, you know, write code today if you want, okay? But you weren't here last class, so I don't know how it'll work. But I think it's important, okay? Hosyu, are you here? How do you pronounce your name, by the way? Okay, is it Josyu or Hosyu? Are you here? There's a bunch of guys, okay? Well, Roger, he actually typed something, so I know, right? Yeah, Krishav just joined. I don't know if he's here. Okay, well, okay, I see the thumbs up now. All right, everybody else, you know, I can see the video, so I know you're here. Great. Okay, is nobody else going to code? If nobody else is going to code, you can. All right. Okay. Thank you. All right, Angelos, that's fantastic. Okay, you can give it a shot. And you know what? I'm just for the heck of it, I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes. Everybody's, you know, but you don't have to shoot for it, you know, or you know, there's no tension in the air. So and people will help you, and I'll help you, and let's go for it.
Okay.
Alexa, set a timer for 5 minutes. Or this time.
5 minutes, starting now.
Okay, it is actually
Can
set.
you hear me fine?
Hmm?
Okay.
No, Khrushchev said something. If we have time. Yeah, so yeah, he understands it, so I think it's okay. Don't have to do it. Yeah, people who already know how to do it, understand all this stuff, especially the people who understand, right? If you don't understand it, it's a different question. You got to understand it, but once you understand it, the ones who understand it have to do it. Okay, that's the important thing. The important part is the ones who have to do it are the ones who understand it, because then you would get to understand it properly. I think not properly, better. No, what does the practice give you that just the understanding doesn't? Yeah. Okay, I think this is what it gives you. Okay, well, I think this is my theory. So understanding it, what happens is that understanding happens at mind speed, and it just goes through nooks and crannies in your logic, right? And just finds some slim path that actually works all the way through. I say, okay, I understand the proof. It works because, I find this thin path through here, wiggling all the way from here to the, this proof. It works. That is the understanding part. But I think practicing it, you actually run into all these, little problems, and this thin path that you actually, made in your understanding gets widened a bit, right? Because of all the nooks and crannies that you, bump into. And so actually you get a more rigid, better path. And I think it solidifies your understanding in a way, because, it also makes your path more smooth, I guess. I don't know. It's just a visual thinking of it. But I think that is why the practice actually does help, even things that require understanding, like math. Yeah, I'm just kind of coming at it from a math angle, computer science, because understanding it is simple in many cases, right? You look at complex algorithms, the EM algorithm, and right. I'm not saying complex, right? Not immediately obvious algorithms. Even take Dijkstra, right? Is it immediately obvious? Oh, let's take something else in CS2C, right? Maybe it's not immediately obvious, but it actually works. Yeah, but then after a while, we get an understanding of it and say, well, we understand it. But then after the understanding comes, the real understanding, where we try and implement what we understood. We say, all right, well, we got it working, but it only works when all of these things are true. But what I want is a practical procedure that just works. Doesn't have to work under extreme constraints and artificial conditions. So that is when the algorithm actually really takes shape and the real understanding happens. Because I think just like in machine learning and data mining, or engineering, data engineering, or AI, 99% of work is an ETL. This is cleaning up the data and getting in a shape which is ready for the AI to look at, right? This AI is like the super boss. So I don't look at anything that is shitty, right? So all the humans have to, clean up the data first, and then say, all right, this is all cleaned up, and there's no noise in here, strong signal, and give it to the AI, and then it can read the signal from it. But that is one way of looking at it, obviously, I think. But anyway, so it's just blabbering on and on.
I might need help with the main.
Yeah, sure. I listen to 10. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Yeah. I'm not going to say anything, right? You're just doing it anyway. So there's a node star, by the way. It's a node star.
Node.
Node star, new node. Node star, new node. No, node space star, new node. Yeah. Node space star, new node.
Like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the parameter, to that is going to be rand percent 100. And then also, while you're at it, get rid of the space after the, on line 13, after the second node, before the parentheses 0, before the parentheses 0. Before the parentheses 0. Before the parentheses 0, you got a space. You can get rid of that and put a semicolon at the end too, which is missing now. You actually was there before you got rid of it, I think. I put a semicolon at the end and hit an enter. Right. Okay. Right. And then rand, get rid of the space after rand, and then it's percent 100. Percent 100. I think that's what we've been using generally, creating a 100. It's almost there anyway. All right. So this is the part that you need, you can try to do, right? Try to do. I'll switch off the timer, but you got to try to do this, okay? Alexa, stop the timer. No, all right. So I see. You the new node equals, you've created the new node, and then all right. So you got a space between the new and the node on this on line 17, right? Get rid of the right new node.
This one.
Yeah. So this was a disadvantage. I think when Ben chose the name new node over Q or something else, or one of you guys chose the name new node, and then it just stuck, right? So I think the word new node as a variable makes beginners confused by saying, oh, is it one word or two words? Because we have a class called node as well. So it's harder for you to remember and recall these lexical tokens.
Yeah. And then it's head node.
Yeah.
Next.
Get rid of the spaces around the arrows, okay? So the arrows are kind of stuck. Now the arrows are, look equally powerful as no, get rid of the spaces around the arrows so that they don't look as as strong as the equals, for example, right? So the arrows need to be stronger than the equals. Get rid of the spaces around the arrows.
Oh, okay. So like,
yeah. This is great. This is great. Okay. Yeah, I know the other one also. Get all the other ones too.
I think those are all of them.
No, even get rid of the space there too. After node, after the word node, get rid of the space. No, that's okay. No.
Okay.
And all right. You had a space after the word node. That's what I meant. That's
okay. I see.
Yeah. All right. So and then you had a space after head node, on the next line,
Oh, this one right here.
Yeah. And get rid of the the other ones too. All the spaces before the arrows.
Okay.
Okay, is this right? Everybody else should chime in too. Does it look right? So creating a new node and then taking the new nodes next and pointing it to heads next, and then the head next points to the new node, right? So this is a standard procedure for linking in a node. So I think we've had so much practice over this in the last couple of lectures, right? Everybody's had a chance to do it, and everybody's had a chance to observe other people doing it too. So it's like double the practice, okay? So there's one more thing that we did was the other kind of for loop, which actually printed out the values. So hit enter after 19. Go ahead and type it, right? One more enter, and get this practice also. This is actually very good, okay? This practice, getting a feel for coding. Fantastic, right? I'm very happy, Angelos, that you're doing this, okay? Hey, Ria, you have your hand raised. What is your question?
Yeah, for the node, head node, is there supposed to be a star there?
Yeah. Thank you. Hey, thank you, Ria. Yeah. Everybody should also point out these things, okay? It's the second time Ria has actually pointed something out that nobody else did. But it's like the emperor is empty, or not the emperor is empty. The emperor is naked or something like this. This is an ancient tale story, right? No, this is supposed to be a star on line 13. That's what Ria was saying.
Okay. On the right here.
Yeah. Great. Yes, so that's what I mean, right? This kind of stuff, everyone should just be able to regurgitate from our memory. This is standard. The names may change, like P, Q, and so on and so forth, but these structures are so standard. You'll use them so many times in so many contexts that you should just spit them out like that. Yeah. All right. Okay, and then I think we didn't even use curly braces there. It was just one line. It is, you were just printing see out the no, I think you had to indent in and then see out the P arrow data.
Yeah. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do here.
Yeah, left shift. Yeah. It's good that you're not sure, okay? Because you're not sure and you now did it, right? So now it's like it's given you some solid reinforcement that this is the thing to do. The next time you won't be not sure. So especially people who are not sure should do these things. That's why I keep pushing you guys, everybody to do this. Is there's no use in getting the people who already know these things. That, I look at the quests, and I know these people who are already doing quest 9 and beyond, and there's no point in pushing them to do these things over and over again in class. But I think the better approach in our class, or at least the next quarter onwards, is for the people who are already doing stuff to be there on the standby, on the sidelines, to jump in and help at any time. But the ones who are not doing so well in the assignments and in class not doing so well, they should get more opportunities to code, because it's just practice. Okay, it's not like extra intelligence or stuff like that. Everybody has practice. Some people just have practice without even knowing they had practiced it, right? So they actually do have natural expertise in these things too. So I think, right, so it's just practice. Once you practice, you're as good as anybody else, really. All right.
I'm not
So,
sure what to
yeah,
do
all right.
after
At
this.
the end, you just say null and endl. Okay. I think that's it. Okay, that's it. I think it took about 7.5 minutes or 10 minutes, maybe max. You can do the whole thing in less than 5 minutes. Okay, aim for 3 minutes. Everybody should be able to do this in 3 minutes. Okay, it's not like it's getting shorter and shorter, but it seems to be in my mind. But that's just because we're doing it so many times here. Aim for 3 minutes. Okay, aim for 3. If you get it by 5, it's okay. In 5, it's okay. But aim for 3 minutes. You should be able to just regurgitate this program, and not in exactly this form. You should be able to throw it out in any form using different variable names. You're just going to use Q instead of P, right? Fine. Okay, instead of head pointer, you're going to use next or something like that. Everything changed. So syntactically, it's all different, but functionally, it's exactly the same. So you should be able to churn it out using a while loop, a for loop. I'm going to do it again in 5 minutes, but in a different way. Right? I'm going to do it one more time in 5 minutes, but again in a completely different way. Maybe I'm going to use return statements, right? So challenge yourself. And then the more of these different kinds of things you challenge yourself and get over, the better you'll start feeling about the language itself. Or about your command over the language, yeah, and saying, well, you know what, it doesn't matter now. I can get any of these tasks, and I can just do it just like that. Okay, so you can just do return 0 at the end, and I think that's good to go, right? You should be able to run it, and it'll even run it, right? I think, let's see, namespace. Yeah, I think it's good enough to run. Return 0 at the end, and oh no, yeah, and no, wait, you don't have an endl. You don't have a null print. Where's your final cout? I thought you had a cout. Cout, and then a null, cout. Yeah, left shift a null. And then within a string, you got to say null. Within a string, you got to say null. No. Instead of the null, you say within a string. Yeah, within double quotes. Yeah, null, and then endl.
Endl.
Yeah,
Oh,
left shift endl, right? And then no, lowercase. All right, semicolon. And then 2 enters, one more, and then return 0. You should be able to run that, okay? No, return. Yeah, I think that's good enough to run. No?
No.
Oh, yeah. Do you have a capital P? Yeah, it's just lowercase p. Null pointer is lowercase ptr. Yeah. So was that it? That was the only one?
And one more. 21.
Yeah. 21. Is there a different language in which there's a thing called null pointer with uppercase P?
I think that
I
was
don't
a mistake. There we go.
Yeah. Anyway, it works. Yeah. All right. So that is your list, and you've also printed it out. The challenge for all of you guys, maybe you can even do this and post it on the Reddit as your final thing. So here's the thing that I did with the destructor. Not destructor really, but essentially it is a loop in which you're going to peel off the nodes and release them. Meaning that you released every node that you did a new for. At the end, you should be able to count the total number of news you did and the total number of deletes you did, and it should be exactly the same. Yeah.
Yep.
So that is what we're trying to shoot for. And you got to do it, and it's obviously in linear time. I was thinking of an interesting problem with lists. If you have a really long list and someone just gives you a pointer and says, how long is it? It'll take you a time that is proportional to the length of the list to create to find the, proportional to the number of nodes to find the length of the list, right? You got to hop, right? Not like a vector and so on. But I think it is possible using a very clever hack. For those of you who are doing computer architecture and operating systems and all, it's actually possible to get the length of a list, a linked list, provided it's all created at once. It's possible to get the length of the list in constant time. Okay, this is some crazy hack, right? Not really useful at all. But if you're interested, you can try and do this. But the thing is, the interesting thing here is that the takeaway that we should take into next quarter and so on is that is one of the fundamental shortcomings of the list, right? It is linear in going through accessing any of these elements. That is really the greatest, right? I think it's a nail in the coffin, really. That you don't have random access to a random element inside the list. You have to go in sequence. It's like a stack, but at least a stack has these very clear-cut use cases. Yeah, so your list also has some very clear-cut use cases, I guess. Right. But anyway, most times a vector just beats it pants down. All right, so that's all I have to say. And I'm so grateful to all of you for just sticking around, just listening to me blabbering on and on, giving me airtime and all. So thank you, right? Thank you all so much. What time is it now? Well, it's 6:49. We have an entire hour. What you can do is basically just talk amongst yourself. If you want to talk to me, if you want to ask me about questions related to the final, no worries, okay? I can answer them. If you want to talk to each other, form your own reflections, ideas. If you want to talk to me and say, hey, well, is this a good thing to talk about? It's all fine, okay? What I'm going to do is to turn the laptop around, so I'm not in your face, but I'm just going to be here. I'll be right there, and let me know, all right? And then if you have to hop off, remember your reflections, and I had a fantastic time. Okay, I had an absolutely fantastic time this quarter teaching you all. And initially all of us were in class, and it was really fun, and that was also a great experience, because this quarter almost it was all online. Okay, by some crazy coincidence, it so happened that, all right, well, I'll teach on campus. But even though it didn't work out for the second half, because they had to redo the electronics in that room also. So, I got booted out of the room because they had to fix the projectors and the hardware also. But while we had it, I think it was fun. Thank you all. Okay, for your patience with me. I hope you got something useful out of this class. Start looking at yourself. You're going to write about this in the reflections, obviously, but just give me a hands up or something if you think that if you compare yourself or your C++ knowledge, right? Maybe some of you I know already programmers in other languages. Okay, so don't let that interfere. Just say in terms of computer science and C++, right? Have I actually, the 12 weeks, the time I've spent on this, has it made a difference or not? You say that is a thing that you should think for. But do you think this has been useful? Yeah, Spencer, thank you. Yeah, thank you. All right. Yeah, hey, I got a lot of thumbs up here. Okay. Yeah, Raj, Zach, Azidor. All right. Great. Okay. And I'm glad that all of you got practice too, right? All of you got practice coding. Again, that is the trick of the trade. No matter what other people tell you, that is really what it is, right? Top programmers have just been programming all the time. Maybe they're just programming fun things, so they don't know they're programming, right? But they're always programming. Okay, it's just fun, because when you're solving a problem and you just encounter all the different bugs, and you don't even realize you're fighting bugs, because you're fighting towards that solution that's already materialized in your head. So just programming, and you come across these things, right? And then you automatically, after a while, you've seen enough of the landscape to basically interpolate it. This is what happens, right? When we look at objects, we don't see the whole object. We only see, discrete points, bam, 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 like that. And then our brain, fills in the missing part and gives us the whole object in our head. So, because, it's only finite amount of information, but it's being extrapolated in our heads. So I don't know how we got started talking about that. Yeah, right. So I think that, by this problem too, my theory is that just by looking at all the different ways in which it is, if you can get to the solution, you get a very good interpolation of the holistic view of the whole problem. Then it doesn't matter how you drift away from it, you'll be able to find a path to it. Right now, if we did that, we'll come back. Okay, look like an entire new algorithm, but how you can get there. I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. All right, thank you all. I'm just going to be around, right? I'm going to be here, and just call me if you want to talk to me. Otherwise, talk amongst yourself, and I will hope to see you all in CS2B. Don't all the work you've done in questing shouldn't go to waste. You can get points for it, 15 points or more in CS2B for your blue quests. So if you've done your blue, you should just enroll in CS2B also, and have a blast doing the green quest. The green is definitely, I think, a lot more fun than CS2A quest. Right? It's just CS2A. The early quests are, I don't know, right? Yeah, CS2B is where the fun quests really start, I think. So and also I think you'll feel more challenged and energized. Challenged, drained, and energized. Challenged, drained when you're trying to solve the problem, but as soon as you solve the problem, you get energized like twice the amount you got drained. So it's like you move in spurts, and I think that kind of adrenaline rush is something that people like in your age group seem to love in these games and all. It's just fast motion all of a sudden. It doesn't matter if you're building up to something, but it gives you that momentum. I think so, right? It's fun. Because when I see the questing and all of you guys, I see these people are just stuck, and they're pounding away, and I'm pretty sure they're, cursing every second of the day. But then I see them make a breakthrough, right? And then they're out on Reddit, they're gushing away, and saying, "Wow, that was incredible." So it must feel great. Okay, so all right, thank you all very much. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me by email, or anything. If you want a special class before the final, I'm happy to do that. Next week, no lectures really supposed to be, but if you guys want to have any special class or topic, or even with Chris, right? I can ask Chris, who's not here today, but he just sent me an email. But if you want a meeting with Chris, all of you guys, just like class, right? Where you have problems and you want to ask Chris, what do you think is the answer? You'll do that, right? And if Chris is not available, I'll be happy to you can just come with a list of questions and say, hey, can you help us with these questions? Right? I'll be able to do that. Best of luck for your finals, right? And all your other classes too, and the UCs and all these other places you're going to. Best of luck. Okay. Hey, Juliana and Vikram, you got questions? Yeah, let's do Vikram first. Okay, he's on the left, and then we'll come to Juliana. Hey, Vikram, what's your question?
So I know how you stated how the reflection for this quarter is cumulative of all our Reddit posts and all that, but what's the format of what we have to submit?
Yeah, you know what? You follow your own. It should be neat and tidy. I think Vinayak posted something recently. Yeah, it was actually quite nice and structured well. In fact, write it in such a way that a future hiring manager comes across it and tries to strike up a conversation with the person who wrote it. So
it's kind of like an essay, or like.
Yeah, look at Vinayak's post. There's, if you look at the last quarter's logs, you'll find them. If you just follow the tips I have written, I think they're good enough. Just don't dump raw links and say, hey, click that and then find out what it's all about. Just say what you learned, what was the point, what you found in each of those things.
For sure.
I think that'll, yeah. And if you can also ask these questions in the sub too, right? Hey, what format should we use? And then, we can respond right on the sub so everybody can get the information too. Yeah. Hey, Juliana, what's up?
So 2 questions. First is, when we're putting our Reddit posts on the final reflection, we're sharing links, or would you rather us like posting screenshots of our posts and comments?
You can do anything you want, right? Ideally, you should have some links in there, either as references or, just inside the essay itself, some hot links in there. So in this post, I described how to switch characters around, something like that.
Okay.
And that link there.
Okay. And then the other question is, are we going to be allowed to make corrections for the finals like we did on the midterm?
Yeah, I said everybody who's been regular in class and done all the quests can send me corrections for up to 2 questions in the final. Up to 2, right? Not all.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Right, thank you.
And so I think in the final, not all of them are worth the same points. Okay, some of them may be worth 3, and some of them may be worth 2. So you can actually pick if you got the 3-pointer wrong, you can ask for those 2. Yeah. Isidore, you got a question? Hey, Juliana, are you good now? Great, great. Hey, how come you didn't get the thing? So let me see.
I don't have a
didn't
Mac.
get the thumbs up. Oh, I got a thumbs up now. I got a thumbs up. All right. So now I think this is a balloon, right? This is a balloon. Yeah. All right. Now there is and then two balloons is what? What about these two? Oh, two balloons is confetti. And let's say left hand. Oh, I see. Two balloons is two of these is confetti. Oh, that's and then this is explosions or fireworks. Nothing here for two? Oh, maybe one is fireworks. One is fireworks. I don't know. How come fireworks is not working? Oh, this is fireworks, is it? Oh, so this is nothing then. This is nothing. All right. Yeah, okay. It's kind of fun. You know what? You can easily make a game out of this. If you're interested, I can show you how to do this in on a phone or something, right? You just recognize some gestures. In fact, when I used to teach machine learning grad level machine learning course, this is very long time ago, like in the 90s. I had my students implement a neural net to recognize hand-drawn digits. So just 0 to 9. And it's easy to do that, right? Just using back propagation. And I can explain the algorithm to you, extra credit or sometime later if you guys have time. It's actually easy to understand the basics of a neural net and how it works, or how you can take the error. Because, for a simple neural net, the surface is actually not that complex to find a reasonable minimum in. That's what we're trying to go for. And so we were trying to do that, to recognize these digits by hand-drawn digits. Now it's also easy, right? But we can do this with all the tools that are available here. We can actually do get the camera here and to recognize our, this with very high accuracy and say, all right, now it's time for balloons, things like that. In fact, you can do this. In fact, you can do a startup if you want. I don't know, of something that gives you layers that you can superimpose on video calls and phone calls, right? So you can say, I want to make a phone call, but I want to make a phone call with the background noise of a cyclone or a rain or a lake or a wind. But you just choose one of these fancy sounds to play in the background while you're making the call so that your ambiance is completely different, right? And you can, for video calls, just like, Apple has done, you can put it all inside your app that you just do in your iOS or Android. I don't know how they do it in Android, but I guess it'll be very similar. So you can do all these really cool things, right? It's all very simple. I don't think much of it is beyond what CS2A requires. By the way, yes, okay. In 2B and 2C, you learn about algorithms and data structures, but a lot of these things that are able to be made and commercialized is just good engineering and CS2A level knowledge, right? Because when you want to do some really heavy duty and interesting stuff, you need to have data structures and algorithms background and things like that. But I think you'll find that most of the ordinary engineers, software engineers out there, they just have a really good, reasonable knowledge of how to put the basic control structures together. In fact, many of them don't even know that a dictionary is more the complexities of a dictionary versus a linked list versus an array or a vector. Right? Maybe I don't think that even the professionals in the Bay Area, a big significant number of them, I don't think they're as aware of the complexities as some of our senior students are. So so I think you can actually make a decent living as an application programmer in JavaScript or some other language, just using the skills that you have learned so far, just picking up a little bit more, like dictionaries and so on, that other things. But doing 2A and 2B and 2C will also equip you with the knowledge of how these tools are actually built and which ones are most suited for which purpose and so on and so forth, right? So, but right now you all already have all of the skills, and just that plus common sense will actually get you through to most of the things that you want to build. From now on, it's all about well, I know how to build it, and I know how to build it too. Now I just want to know how to build it faster and more efficiently and easily. That's what 2B and 2C are about. Okay, so in 2A, by the end of 2A, you should be ready to build anything, right? This is this thing that we've built with linked lists and so on. It's just you can do more complex programs too. It'll just be more big and crazy. But in 2B and 2C, we'll learn the skills to do the same thing without having to do a lot of work, right? Without having to do a lot of replication, duplicate work, factoring things nicely and so on and so forth, and algorithms that will be more efficient. So from here on, it's just making it more and more interesting and beautiful. So that's why I think 2A is the most important course, and you should not waste the opportunity. Having completed 2A, you should take this opportunity to complete B and C as well, because coming to the end of this is actually itself, a pretty good, I think, validation of your own resolve and determination to get through the CS, difficult language that other people think is difficult, C++. So I'm happy that you taken that leap, but go on to do the 2B and 2C, and then you'll actually find it more fun than 2A, because some of the problems you'll be dealing with, you'll just assume all of these things, and you'll be using all of these skills, all the skills that you learned in 2A, you'll be using them in 2B without even knowing them. I think that is the fun, right? The first few weeks at least, you'll be using all of these skills without even knowing them, and then you reflect back and say, hey, you know what? In the first week of 2A, I was struggling to see whether it should be size T or int, and here you're just pulling it out of thin air, just like that. Right. And so you can recognize those things when they happen, and it'll be fun. Right. All right. Anyway, so there's a whole bunch of questions. This seems to have. All right, Rebecca, you got one more question?
Yeah, I was wondering, are we still able to retake the data representation quiz?
Yeah, you can. Well, only for ones who got less than 17. Okay. If you got 17 or above, no retakes. But if you got fewer than 17, you can tell me, and I'll reopen it for you. Okay. One more time.
Should I email you about that then?
Yeah. I think other people have also done that already. So if you've done really badly, yes.
Okay.
Even midterm, if you did really, really badly and you didn't do it really badly the second time, if you did it badly the first time, the midterm, like less than 10 or something, you got less than 10 on a midterm, and only one chance, then you get one more chance. Well, you can do it one more time, right? Like that. How about that? I think that'll be better for you. Yeah, everybody. Because at the end of the day, it's only about what you have actually learned from this. So the midterm it'll just serve the purpose of refreshing your memory. If you want to take it one more time, it's actually better for you, even though you already know it. Isidore, you got another question?
Yes, I was just wondering what Reddit flare you want us to use for the reflection.
Just use Foothill. Just use the Foothill flare.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks. Ria, yeah. Hey, Ria.
So I was wondering if what the format of the final was, like if it's similar to the midterm.
Yeah, very similar. Exactly the same format. Yeah, exactly the same format. Exactly the same format as the midterm. It's just the new material. That's all. Vikram.
So can we still make a participation for past weeks and like do the extra credit opportunities?
Well, it's too late to do all the extra credit, I think, at this point. But just do the best you can from here until the end of the quarter. Yeah. And then we'll see what we can do. Okay. All right. So don't stress out or worry about these things. Just do the best you can and then hope for the best. You got another question?
Oh no, it's just because I feel like I've been a little inconsistent with participation, and I want to learn all the material and show you.
Yeah, but I think you eventually got back into it. That's important. It doesn't matter if you've been slacking in the beginning, but once you get into it, you should not you should be on the ball like you've been, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So I might just probably make a few more posts for tips for past quests or something.
Yeah. Make more posts. And also, even if you're not doing my 2B, I highly recommend, I recommended this to Ben also, because he doesn't have to do the 2B and 2C. Even if you're not doing 2B and 2C at Foothill, you should absolutely do the green and red quest, because you're enrolled in the Genius Bootcamp. Try to complete the Genius Bootcamp and finish all the way up to the red quest. If you dog red, you will find that incredible opportunities will await you. Yeah. So just over the Christmas break, the holidays, or June, whole of January maybe. Right. I think even after the winter quarter starts, it doesn't pick up the momentum in many of these places, Foothill, UCs, until the end of January, I think.
Wait,
so
where can I find the Genius Bootcamp? Is that on the syllabus?
It's already there. It's you're all by default enrolled. If you're doing the quest, you're doing the bootcamp essentially.
Okay, and when does registration for CS2B end?
No, it's started. I don't know when it ends. It started, so you
It
should
ends
just be
in the
able to.
second week of classes.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, it ends in the second week, does it?
Yeah, like
Okay.
for if you want to register in the first week of classes, you'll need an ad code, but registration officially closes in the second week of classes.
Yeah. But do all of the green and the red quests regardless, and then you can just, even whether you are a student or not, you will be able to get the exact same help that a paying student also gets, because you'll be posting questions in even though you're not a student, you'll be posting a question about a mockingbird or some quest that you're working on, and someone will answer it. If not another student, either me or a tutor or Namrata or Chris or one of these other bootcamp senior bootcamp people, right? They'll actually pick up and answer these questions. And but I know a bunch of really some of my friends who are in some of the heavy duty software companies. They're actually looking. They're actually very much interested in talking to some of the people that have done very well in the red quests, in all the way up to the dog red. So you may actually find that you are actually contacted by people who want you to come and intern in their big software companies over the summer. But just because they know that you won't waste a lot of time, because that is the biggest problem that many of the internship, the big companies face in getting fresh college interns, is that they spend 80% of the time also learning, getting up to speed, right, on the stuff that they should learn really well in college also. But looking at some of these things, I know that if I were to get one of these people, they just hit the ground running. Like that, because they know, oh, here's where I need to use that data structure, bam, 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 like that, right? And then they'll understand the code and how things work. So you should take it on yourself to complete all of the 9 quests in red, right? And also dog them all. And if you happen to be enrolled, you get credit for 2B and 2C, which is really cool. Because I don't even know if I'll offer 2C after the winter, but if I do, you'll get credit for it, obviously, right? Even green 2B. You'll get credit for. I'm not planning on changing any of the quests at this point. Maybe I may change 1 or 2 of them later on, but right now exactly the same quests. So maybe some of the mini quests may change. That's all. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy them. And I'll keep some of the secret quests coming up. There's one called Curiouser and Curiouser. It's been there for a long time. See if you can get. Do that and have fun. All right. So yeah, like I said, I'm just going to be here. If you don't have any other questions, just talk amongst yourself. And feel free to drop off, and I will hopefully see you all in CS2B also. Okay, CS2B, where you will enroll and do all these cool quests. With the rest of the class, the same group will keep going on. That'll be so much fun. All right. So you guys talk and prepare for your report, and I will just go into the sidelines and not respond until I'm called. Okay. And if you need me, just call me.